Last we left off, Princess Luna was met by
My master's mate.
Master's mate.
We were a group of...
A group of 9, so there were 9 wizards or general spellcasters, each representing one school of magic. One of the rogue ones trained you up in your own skills. He sent you to the avium to find answers on how to defeat the monster of the place. So you all investigated the library, found that a load of books about this elemental thing have all been torn out. Princess Luna went off in search of answers, and you also got given a stone that you investigated, so you sent it over to the Professor of Transmutation. She got a few answers out of it. She spent the night with it.
It was a key of some sort, or it was believed to be part of a cluster of keys.
The librarian was a really shifty character as well, who was hiding a lot of stuff. Lucille snuck off down his secret passageway, and then you all just decided to leave. You got a note handed to you by a random messenger boy, which said, "Meet me at midnight."
What time are we on now?
About midday.
I think we should do some gambling, play some cards.
Oh, yeah.
Wizard
Oh
chess.
yeah.
With a chest.
I kind of want to see if I can convince anyone to give me any magical relics. Some magical relics.
Magical relic.
Oh, magical relic! Get over here!
Great. So you're just going to go wander around until you find someone playing cards. Students are milling about in classrooms and such, and it's a pretty nice day. And so you go down a few of these tunnels, just investigating the areas, and discover in small alcoves of these branches, people huddle around tables, generally gambling. There's a lot of money at stake in some of them, whereas some of the tables are just not peanuts because they're worth a lot, but, copper pieces.
I'm just going to play some cards, but low stakes. I'm just play it normally.
I'm in a cards mood as well.
I just want to see how well I do without cheating.
So you find a table, you sit down opposite a guy, his money forwards, and it's only 5 silver pieces. So he draws 3 cards in front of himself, and then he hands over 3 cards to you, and he says, before you look at your cards, would you like to swap them with my own?
No.
The rules of this game is very simple. Whoever has the highest hand wins. Relic, please can you roll 1d8?
5.
He picks his own card underneath it and puts it back down again. Please turn over your next card, d10 please.
9.
And again, he peeks under his card, puts it back down again, gives a soft cough, looks behind his shoulder, and now your final card, please, d12.
1.
He turns over his cards with a scowl as he pushes the 5 silver pieces towards you and reveals his total is 12.
Yay.
As you are down there, you hear a really loud kerfuffle above ground. You're kind of underground in these root system with these floating island things. Somebody shouting very distinctly for a doctor.
I ignore it.
Healing things.
No, Xander, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Oh.
All right, yeah.
Can I pretend to be a doctor then?
I mean, I have healing things, so I could help.
But what we need in this scenario is a fake one. I'm going to go up and act like a doctor.
I have a disguise kit for you.
Oh, yes, please. One of those big beak masks.
Oh, yeah.
Lucille manages to create the plague doctor beak and heads up above ground. Is everyone else heading up there and just watching?
Sure.
You notice straight away there's a large crowd gathered around Professor Nightseed's transmutation classroom. Something has happened inside of there. Can I have a perception check from anyone who's curious, please?
A 21.
18.
20.
Not that matters.
4.
Most of you, pretty much except for Relic, notice that there is smashed window pane heading into the place. As everyone gathers round, you see the Dean come out, storming around in his big robe, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I forgot he was ambiguously European.
What's up, Mr. Dean?
Very flustered, he looks up at you and he's like, my friends, there's clearly been murder here. One of faculty.
Murder? I thought you said water.
Water!
Well, point us to the murder. We'll solve it, like Nancy Drew.
Nightseed, crossbow balls to the neck.
Question.
Just,
If there's been a murder, why is a doctor needed?
well, we thought we could save her, but clearly not.
Just go a crossbow bolt in the neck.
You spoke to her just yesterday. It was her transmutation professor.
Oh.
In terms of finding out the fact about the stone and everything else.
I yank the crossbow bolt out of her neck and examine it.
Cool. Could I have a perception check, please?
She's still alive.
It is a crossbow bolt.
That's an unnatural 20.
You've seen these kind of crossbow bolts before. They look familiar, but you're not entirely sure from where.
Is there any writing on the desk?
Can I have an investigation check as well, please?
15.
not on top of the desk, but there are drawers around, and there's obviously the students' works you would have marked.
Can I have a look for something that has her handwriting?
You go through the drawers, and the dean looks at you and kind of glares. Personal property, not okay, not okay. But it doesn't seem to stop you as you go through her books and see her handwriting.
I would like to compare it with the note that we got.
You compare it with the note, and it is exact.
The plot thickens.
Mysterious.
So
There's a murderer on the loose.
The crossbow bolt itself is familiar. I remember there being something about on our way to Sheridan's camp. We ran into some crossbow bolts. Did we?
Yeah.
That were a bit strange.
Yeah, we did.
There were suspicious crossbow bolts, but they don't seem that type. Can I just have a history check, please, to see if you can recall from where?
5.
Again, they just look very familiar, and you try and think back as if you can't piece together where you've seen them before.
Possibly from a crossbow.
Any of you remember this?
You pull out the very blooded crossbow, you hold it up, and you see her neck kind of sag.
This is a murder scene that we've just trashed.
What now?
The dean comes up to you and he's like, have you
Bury
solved
her.
anything yet? Anything at all?
Yes, Dean. We do have something so far. We're not willing to divulge because we can't rule out anyone as a suspect.
I think we should question everyone.
Question the Dean. I want to get some more conversation in with him.
He wanders back to his study and says, find me later then.
Oh, this is exciting. Can I go to the library with the crossbow bolt and have a look at ancient warfare? Or just any sort of warfare that might indicate some sort of clue as to where this crossbow bolt might be from?
Unless you go to a blacksmith and see which crossbow would fit.
That's
Maybe
true.
on the interviewing team.
Princess Luna can go to the library. It'll take several hours to pull out books and start that investigation.
What do you think, my dear Watson Apple?
You should go with whoever wants to research stuff, and I'll stay here with whoever wants to interview people, figure out
Oh, okay.
what's going on.
Perfect. All right.
To investigate her room.
Anything in particular you were investigating for, Relic?
Clues. Secret writings. Whatever she maybe wants to tell us.
The most recent diary entries are all to do with the stone. You're not aware that Princess Luna handed it over, but all to do with a stone and the 9, and mentions the ferret who spoke to her just last night with information that, and she just talked about the 9 keys of the gate and stuff about the myths and the facts, and she's trying to compare something, and she doesn't seem to have all the pieces of the puzzle. Lilypad goes over to investigate the smashed window. The single pane smashed through, everything else is still solid, and it seems to be coming through the direction of out of the town. So where the road leads out where you were just an hour ago.
Someone from the town did it.
We're going to the library, so why don't we investigate the librarian while we're there?
Good idea. Yeah.
Let's split up, gang.
So who's going into the library? Is it Princess Luna, Harold, and...
No, I'm going to interview the people.
Princess Luna and Harold head down into the library. You see the librarian puts on his robe almost. He's still fastening something around his neck, and he bustles up to you. Yeah, I'm sure you've just you've heard what's going on upstairs. Something very, very interesting. Yeah, murder in this place. It hasn't happened in at least 2-3 months. It's quite upsetting.
What? Are you count now?
Occupational hazard.
Who was the last person to be murdered here?
Oh, just some students. It's magic flies everywhere. Just go to the head, killing off one of the students who is doing better than them, wants a promotion in the magical arts, Quite
So
common.
there was an investigation?
Oh, there's always investigations when there's murder, and this student who did it gets kicked out or thrown off the roof.
Or worse, expelled.
Throwing a bird off the roof doesn't seem like much of a punishment.
So, what brings you to the library this afternoon?
Books.
Of course. Please enjoy your education, and he just wanders off.
We're going to look at weapons through the ages. See if we can find one that looks like this.
You carry on the crossbow bolt and you look through pictures, and it seems like a very, very modern one that you could pick up at any general blacksmith. In fact, whoever's carrying a crossbow in the party would probably have similar ones because they're just common ones.
Oh, I thought it was an interesting crossbow bolt. I think we should go and speak to this librarian a bit more and threaten him with this crossbow bolt.
I'll need an intimidation.
Yeah.
Still dripping with the blood of his ex-colleague.
Well, I've got an idea. Can I go in and speak with him initially, and then a perception on what he is actually doing at the minute?
I want to try and take his amulet.
His study is really small. It kind of looks over the entire library. It's just a spiral staircase up into a round room with just glass overlooking the library. And as you go up to meet him, he is there just reading a book. See his amulet dangling over it. as he's just studying it, and he doesn't seem that interested. He just looks up, closes the book, puts it down. He's like, anything else I can help you with?
Yes, actually, I'm looking to inquire about what you use as I'm going to stab him with this crossbow bolt in the hand. Yeah, I'm just going to go straight for it.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm going to try and take the amulet from around his neck.
Sleight of hand check, please, Harold.
Sleight of hand. 18.
Princess Loon, I'm going to make a dexterity save. Can you make an attack against him, please?
11.
So you take the crossbow bolt and ram it into this wing. Just as Harold lifts off the necklace, you take the amulet in your hands, and as you do that, he turns around, and Princess Loon doesn't get the full effect. His beak seems to elongate, and his feathers all turn black, and you're now staring in the face of someone who looks not like the librarian at all. Very shocked, he howls in pain, grasps to try and take the amulet back off you.
I run away.
Dexterity check then, please.
11.
You're able to get away carrying this necklace as you see this bird at the same time yanking his hand off the table that's trying to grab you, and he kind of just falls and stumbles as you notice that this is not the librarian. Princess Luna, you see him pull his hand out, you see it gone clean through his wing. He vanishes, but the crossbow bolt is still in midair as he clearly has just turned himself invisible. You see the hovering crossbow bolt just clatter down the staircase, tries to stumble out of the room.
So it's still in his hand?
Yeah, it's still dripping blood as he's rushing through the library. I'll need a perception check with disadvantage if you're going to try and follow him, because it's just a floating arrow.
Yeah, I'm going to try and follow him.
Okay. The rest of you?
I'm going to interview all the people. I'm not going to talk about the murder. I'm going to try to invite them into my cult.
I like that. Okay, I'll need 3 persuasion checks then. The fact that the spellcaster as well makes him way more gullible.
Yeah, that's a 9. Natural 1. And that is natural 20.
Okay, it takes you roughly the majority of the rest of the day. It's already nighttime by the time you come out to find out what's going on with everyone else. As you've gone through this entire university, preaching on the streets, taking people into rooms and discussing your views with them. By the end of the day, you've got about 12 very, very keen followers into the cult. Relic and Lilypad, how have you spent the rest of the day before we go to Harold and Princess Luna, who might just wrap up this whole quest?
I'll just wander back to the others, tell them what I found.
I'll just follow him. Yeah.
You all head downstairs to see Harold rushing down the corridor of the library, chasing after something. What was your perception check?
11 on disadvantage.
By the time you round a corner, you seem to have lost him, just as you hear the distinct sound of sliding wood from down the corridor.
I message Lilypad and Relic to let them know what's happened. Follow that crossbow bolt.
Crossbow bolt has technically vanished. As you continue search, you find it lying on the floor, so it's clearly taken out of his wing at this point.
Okay. I have Dispel Magic once we know that we're near him.
So we heard, was it a wooden door?
Sliding
Wooden
door.
Wooden sliding. Is he wearing clogs? Has the floor just been washed?
Yes, you've cracked another case. Thank you, Dylan.
I'm going to use my primeval awareness. Is there an aberration, celestial, dragon, elemental, fey, or fiend, or undead present within a mile of me?
Knowing this school, there's at least 5 of each.
Yeah.
There is some kind of, it seems pretty large creature, so you do sense some, it's more of a fiend than anything else.
Cool. I sense a fiend. This may be what this thing is.
Is a fiend just a bad guy? Or is it like an actual
It's more
animal?
like a demonic type thing.
Okay.
Ooh,
Wickedness that are native to the lower planes.
I prefer
If I-
higher planes. That's where planes are meant to go.
If I were to find a familiar, does it have to be like a particular animal, or could I use like a crossbreed?
I have no issue with that if you wanted to be a certain creature.
Can I have a leech with wings
I have no issue with that.
to follow the blood? In fact, why don't we follow the blood trail?
Let's be logical.
Yeah.
The leech with wings.
Can I also still make this leech with wings?
You can.
Leech for the sky.
So you do begin investigation of the blood trails. Can I have an investigation check, Princess Luna?
Oh, natural 20 plus 3, 23.
Yes, Luna.
So as you come down the halls, you see splatters of blood every now and then, until you come up to a bookcase where it kind of stops, and you just see a trail of blood against one book.
Ooh, I'm going to pull it like that.
You pull it like that, and sliding door appears, discovering a hidden corridor.
Lilypad Allen, we found the
Yeah.
secret bookshelf like Scooby-Doo style.
Yes.
How long is this corridor down the...
It's about 200 feet probably.
Whip my Wand of Wonder out and just fire it straight down.
The floor turns invisible.
Lucille comes around the corner to see
No, but-
the doorway
Wait,
just splitting
that's like a
across.
student.
Lucille killed her.
I
I will go first, but I have dark vision anyway. Oh, nasty knife, just in case. That's a good idea.
Pull out your
Yeah.
nasty knife and holding it in front of you, you begin marching down this corridor. Lucille, you remember this from last night where you hid? And at the end of this corridor, you keep walking down. You see doorways that are all seem to be locked. And at the very end, there is a door that is slightly ajar.
It's opened. I run in.
You push through, Lucille. You enter what looks to be a study room. So there are bookshelves lining all the walls.
Picturing study room F from Community.
Yeah. All that's in the room really is a wardrobe to the left of you and a really musty old chair. And then there's a doorway at the far end that could be leading down somewhere.
open the wardrobe.
Go through the doorway.
Oh wait, does anyone have to check magic?
Hang on, I don't think
Check
I
for
do have it.
traps.
You go to the doorway and it's sealed magically.
I open the wardrobe.
Can I cast Dispel Magic?
As you're doing
It feels
that,
magically.
Relic pulls open the wardrobe and you see the librarian in front of you. His eyes are sealed. He seems to be suspended inside this thing by some kind of magic. A crystal pendant is around his neck.
Can I take the pendant?
I have identify before you go and touch it. Oh, hang on, it means I have to touch it. But at least that way, I would be able to learn its properties and how to use it.
Just
Too
wait.
late.
It's in my mouth.
Nom nom nom.
Your fingers are already quite sticky, but it seems to be very...
Gooey.
Not even gooey, it's really, really thick, liquidy stuff. This seems to be encasing this librarian. And your
Loopy.
fingers break through, it kind of goes through its initial layer, and then your hands just go right through, and then you can pull the necklace from around his neck. Nothing seems to happen to him as you pull it out of this goop, and you're just holding it up together.
I thought that was going to do something.
Eat some of the goo.
Yeah. No.
Is the librarian waking up at all?
No, he's still completely suspended.
Do we know whether the librarian has been a fake librarian the whole time?
No one's told you anything about him turning
Okay.
into someone else.
I sent them a message.
Oh, right, in which case, you all are now aware that something's gone on.
Is this like within the last night this has happened, or was the librarian this other creature the whole time?
Well, maybe that's why he was so creepy and ominous.
Shifty, yeah.
Mm.
I'm going to try and pull him out of the goop,
So does anyone know how to get rid of a goo chrysalis?
but I'm not very strong, so
We can all just do it together.
I'm going to try and pull him out.
Could I have a strength check, please?
I can help.
I might need it. Let's
No
see.
help.
I
Gain
mean, I'm only
advantage.
19, so why don't I try and pull him out and the others help?
You both manage to tug him out relatively easily, and as you pull him out, he stays suspended in this sleep.
Flick his nose.
Did someone put the amulet on him? The one which you took? The amulet which you took from the old librarian.
Yeah.
Do you want to try pop it on him to see if that revives him? Because it did something to the other one when you took it off. Or maybe that was just because we stabbed him.
It was just a disguise, wasn't it?
Could have been
Yeah.
anything.
You can disguise the librarian as the librarian.
Or
The librarian was inside the librarian.
could I use identify? If you touch a creature throughout the casting, you will learn what spell, if any, are currently affecting it.
Can, yeah.
Handy.
You cast Identify and you put your hands or your paws over this sleeping librarian. You notice that some spell that you've been forbidden of you from your master. This is clearly some very dark necromancy that you've never even been allowed to study.
What if he's linked to the other librarian? So we have to kill this one.
So if we stab him, does the other one fall down?
I think we should, we should at least try.
If there's
Whoa.
two, does that make them barbarians?
No,
I think you should do it something less lethal to begin with.
Like maybe like prod him.
Depends where we stab him, like the foot
Yeah, like break a toe off.
or kneecaps.
Why don't you slit his throat? That'll wake him up.
I say we go for a toe.
Shotgun,
Oh,
keep
man.
it go afterwards.
Okay, so you get your knife and you pick off one of his toes.
What creature is he, by the way?
He is an owl with the tiny spectacles.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless him. That is so cute.
Looks like
Wow.
my grandfather.
You cut off one of his claws. He stays sleeping, and you now have one of his toes
Do I have a medical kit?
still suspended.
I hand the toe to Luna.
Thank you. I will wear
Have
it
a
with
cooking
pride.
pot. I whack him in the face with a cooking pot.
Tangled it.
I do it.
Just materialised as a cooking pot purely for this purpose.
You take out a cooking pot and you just whack him over the head. When you do hit him, it seems to be something else that you hit, some kind of force above him.
Hey, Harold,
Huh?
would you mind dispelling this magic thing?
Yes. I dispel the magic.
You cast Dispel Magic and flap your wings over him. The magic is far too powerful for this spell to do any difference to it. You see some rippling above his body as you do something, so you know there's definitely magic.
Spell magic on the door, on the sealed door.
As you put your wings over this door, it has way more of an effect, as some kind of iridescent rainbow effect comes over the door, and you're now able to open the door very easily. Inside, it's just another dim hallway that just descends down a little bit. You're noticing that it's like a really old classroom, branched off into a few different classrooms that have not been used for a really long time. But around you've got desks and stuff and books that have been opened. There are loads of blackboards around the room as well that have a bunch of arcane scrawlings on them, as if someone's been trying to figure out an equation of some kind.
Ooh.
Investigate. Will I understand them?
Can I have a Arcana check? Lilypad and Princess Luna, and Harold with a disadvantage.
Arcana.
Yes, please.
I got 7 both times.
11.
I rolled 18.
So Lilypad is the only one who's able to make some kind of sense of this, and the equations seem to be controlling a large elemental or a fiend of some kind, and it seems to be trying to connect life force to this thing. And as you do that, you notice from behind the blackboards 5 bird folk skeletons turn the blackboards over and just peer down at everyone in unison. Everyone roll initiative, please.
The former librarians.
No.
So the one reaches for Lucille with his short sword drawn. 19 to hit.
That hits.
So as it reaches across from you, it's going to take a slash across his snout, and you're going to take 5 points of piercing damage. Another one reaches with its talons towards Harold. 9 to hit.
Yeah, it doesn't hit.
Lilypad 21 as it reaches across the blackboard, and you're going to have to take 10 points of damage as the short sword goes right through. Would you like to take a reaction on that?
Yes, please. 14.
14. So as this thing cuts into your flesh, Lilypad only points her finger at the thing and fire erupts around it. It just turns it immediately to dust as this fire vanishes. No one has seen Lilypad do such a thing before. It then goes to the one attacking Princess Luna and Relic at the same time. 19 for Princess Luna and 7 for Relic.
It hits.
And with his short sword, it's going to kind of stumble towards you and cuts into your side, and you're going to take 4 points of piercing damage.
I use my longbow.
So you take a step backwards from it being attacking you, I'm guessing, because otherwise you're in combat with it. So it's going to get an attack of opportunity against you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Unnatural one. So as you pull back, it lunges forwards, and you'll get advantage on your attack with the longbow.
Oh, yes. 25.
Takes a step back, and the arrow cuts into one of its ribs, and it just falls off. Takes a stumbling step towards one side, and tries to reach down to pick up its own rib. It's still stumbling from its fall. Harold, it's your turn.
Okay, so the one that's attacking me, I'm going to go for a firebolt. 10 to hit.
So as you cast the firebolt, it kind of just bounces off one of its ribs and off into the bookshelf.
Eldritch Blast on Harold.
After this one has just bounced off, a purple spark just comes flying towards it from Lilypad.
That'll be 8 to hit.
It goes again through its ribs.
I'm going to do Burning Hands at level 3. 21.
A burst of flame comes flying out your hands and it engulfs it. The whole room just brightens up as this thing just bursts into flames, and yours also goes down into a pile of dust.
Okay, I'm a attack 3 short swords. I'll do it more efficiently. I've got a natural 20, 23, and an 11. 24 damage.
In just a blur of motion, you see Relic just dance around with his swords, kind of flying up in the air at the same time. So much so that this thing is just demolished, and with a clatter, all its bones fall to the floor. 2 that are surviving, just Lucille's and Harold's. Both going to make attacks against you. The 15 for Lucille, 20 for Harold.
Yes.
With short swords, they're both going to just try and pierce you. 3 on Harold and a 5 on Lucille. As they just slice into you. Your arm blocks most of the pain, to be honest.
Longbow. 17 to hit.
The arrow gets through its jaw into its head, and it seems to just pop off and then just clatter. He stumbles forwards again, still trying to pick up his rib seemingly, and then just clatters and just his bones roll across the floor.
17 to hit with my rapier and 7 damage.
And it cuts off part of its arm, and as he's carrying swinging around, you knock off its ankle, and it's hobbling around.
Nasty knife.
So Lilypad lunges forward with a nasty knife at the same one she's just throwing a blast at.
2 damage.
As you cut into it, all it seems to do really is just slice into its spine. This thing crumbles down a bit. You see its beak just drop off from its jaw from where Harold cut into it earlier.
I'm going to get 2 daggers and stab it in the side of the skull. That's a 17 and 12.
So both of them hit. As you cut into it, it finishes him off, and he falls to the floor with you on top of him. Bones roll across, and everything seems to go quiet.
Could I work out what any of the spells were saying?
You
Controlling an
figure-
elemental
Yeah. Or some kind of beast.
or a fiend.
Or a fiend.
To the door.
Okay.
Bored.
Lilithad announces her journey as she goes towards the door. It pulls open.
Ah.
Oh.
Oh,
So you enter the
Dinosaur.
room to find clearly the fiend that Relic was sensing earlier, which doesn't look too friendly. And then you see the guy that Harold and Principal wizard-like with a staff pouring over some kind of stuff on this table here. Foul-smelling liquid brews in these cauldrons and pots lying all over the place. It's a very roughly humanoid birdie shape, as you can see. And these 4 eyes just gaze at you as they enter. This crow shouts at you, "You don't understand what you're doing, just stay out of my way."
Explain
I asked him
yourself.
what his name is.
He's got his staff now and he's pointing it at this monster as it takes some threatening steps towards you. He is shouting stop, seems to be trying really hard to control this thing.
Tough talk from a guy without a name.
What difference does it make if we're all going to die because of this foul thing? And he's just trying to control it, but it's not doing it. You cannot possibly understand what I've been trying to do. This aspect cannot be controlled, it cannot be contained, and you just leave while you still can.
Who are you? Why are you? And what are you doing and why?
Less beaky, get speaky.
You just come to interrupt my studies. I'm trying to stop the fire and it's out of control. I can't do anything. I've tried to create this creature to contain it, and he's like throwing stuff into cauldrons and trying to do everything in his magical power to save it.
What is your name?
I am Oddwald. And
Aww.
Oddwald, a name which should strike fear in your hearts, surely. As you must know my reputation of being the finest student of the Avium.
Did you start the fire?
Oddwald.
What do you say?
Fire.
be our intern.
Did he try and take ownership of like the fireworms?
They're
Yeah.
a byproduct of the thing I really started.
So what was the thing you really started, Oswald?
Oddwald.
Science.
Something beyond you cannot understand. It's for trained wizards, trained magic users, of which you are clearly not.
How do you know?
I've seen you in action. You stab with crossbow bolts. Pull
I
off
clap my hands.
I clap too.
Leaves form around you.
I also applaud.
Oddball, listen here. Why were you disguised as a librarian and then we saw the librarian in a cocoon and took him out to try and save him?
This is way beyond you. You're just your average heroes who deal with bandits. Go back to...
You are in the presence of a queen,
Yes.
don't you know?
Queen's an imaginary title and unnecessary when the world explodes because of the fire aspect. He
Well, someone's very anti-magic.
chucks more stuff into his cauldron, raises his staff as this creature edges again towards you. It resists as he puts more stuff in the cauldron though. And he's like, I created this thing out of deceased bird folk, created this construct as a means to stop.
How can a zombie bird stop fire?
He's there trying to get control of this thing. We're like, hang on. What?
To be honest, I think we're fine because that cannot get through the door.
Charlie, how distracted would you say he is right now?
He's completely focused on trying to stop this thing from killing you.
So if I
Nice
were
and
to shape water and lift out the stuff from the cauldron, smother him in it, would he notice quick enough?
Would he notice quick enough?
I'll roll a perception check against your stealth, if that's okay.
Oh, yes. You're going to love this. It's a natural 20.
I got a 9. You get pretty much all the water, all the liquid that's inside this cauldron. You begin moving it in his direction as his staff is just there. You manage to kind of whistle it around him, and he has no idea.
Have we deduced that he's the cause of the fire thing?
Can I have an insight check, Relic?
22.
You can guess that he is definitely the cause of bringing this thing about, and he's now regretting everything and doing everything in his power to stop it.
Someone tell me that quickly before I go and scold him and drown him in his own cauldron
That
juice.
quickly.
Do you tell me
Okay, so
that?
how can we help you in your quest to stop the fire thing?
Oh, we're stopping the fire thing. Perfect. I'm just going to pop that back into the cauldron for him.
There's nothing we can do to stop it anymore. I thought this cobble fright would be enough. Again, inches towards you very slowly. He just shouts, "It's immortal. There's nothing we can do to stop it anymore. It's seeping across the forest and it's going to be scorched. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing you can do." And he pulls very mightily with his staff, and this thing is yanked back and thrown against the wall over here.
Should we just seal the door and leave them to it?
How did you create the fire thing in the first place?
I didn't create it. I just awoke it from its seal in the forest.
How did you awake it from its seal in the forest?
I wanted power. I was young. I was foolish. I just graduated. and I thought I'd investigate something I'd read about.
I want to wander the skeleton thing, then hopefully we can have a better conversation with him.
I hide in safety.
Same.
Me too.
51.
As you cast your wand of wonder on him, you see exactly this happen.
Oh.
You enlarge it to twice its size. As its bones just grow, its eyes twist in every direction until it reaches twice its usual size.
I definitely can't get through the door.
Just leave
Even
the,
though we're okay through
The
it.
ground
just close the door behind us.
With each step it takes, the ground tremors as Oddwald just screams, "What have you done?" And this thing turns on him, and Oddwald goes invisible, vanishes from your sight.
We are so good at making things worse.
Can we just leave this room to it? Can we just go?
Could I give it another try and see if we can double it even more?
Big grass.
Go for it.
Just
Alright.
keep doing it till something good happens. Please.
That is a 67. Is it invisible?
What you see is this. Sabrina shoots half her sight. She looks up at this creature, which seems now even bigger, and she first assumes that she's enlarged it until she looks up at you and realizes that she has shrunk herself.
Can we just close this door and leave?
Is that what you
Can we
want
put
to do?
Luna on the other side of the door, then leave?
Let's give it one more go. I've only got
Okay.
like a certain amount of uses per day. 26.
You cast your wand, a great stinking cloud emits from it and begins to fill the room around you. This thing is immune to being poisoned, sadly, as just a giant cloud of gas just surrounds the room. This thing is out of control, though, as it just begins launching towards you and scrabbling at the door.
I throw all my ball bearings down.
So you drop the ball bearings. Clearly, obviously, it's going to slip. It rolls across the floor on its stomach. 1,000 ball bearings just fell out across the floor and slide away. As this thing is now going to try and both scrabble at the door and get you, and at the same time, the spell wears off. You both return to normal size.
Can we leave now?
But then we've got so much that we can take from this place.
So how much
Like a valuable life lesson.
Oh, okay.
We should kill this thing. The necklace that I took from him. Can I
Yeah.
check it?
Are you wearing it or just holding it?
I'm just holding it.
It's magical, but that's all you can gather.
Oh,
Do you want
okay.
me to poke it?
Yeah, go on.
Well, mine's just going to be a ritual.
Oh, so
I'll
you didn't
just-
identify.
Yes, that's right.
You notice that it clearly has a twin. It will be a mirror image of the person who's wearing the other one. So, for instance, if you put on Harold and then you wear the other one, you will look like Harold.
Ooh.
So the necklace which we took from the actual librarian.
The one,
It's a crystal one.
crystal one, is the one that you put on the person you want to look like.
We make the bird look like Kingsley.
And then
It's a tiny
Still
8-year-old
Kingsley.
raccoon. If you have the heart to destroy your own son, but that's another matter.
should I just try and mage hand and put the crystal necklace on the skelly bird?
Yeah, that's a better idea.
The ball bearings are just tripping it up right now.
Sleight
Yeah.
of hand is a 15.
You're able to get it around its neck, but as you do that, nothing happens.
Can I go firebolt?
You cast me Firebolt. Harold, bored of waiting around and seeing the trickery of other people, just casts Firebolt at this thing as a small firebolt dances over into its head.
25 to hit.
25 hits, and it recoils as it hits it and it just slides backwards on the ball bearings as it tries to regain its balance and run towards you in retaliation. It kind of trips over the ball bearings and just slides towards you. So you're going to get the first 3. With disadvantage though. Oh gosh, that's a natural 1 already. So 1, a 6, and a 3. As it lunges towards you and it just scrambles to try and reach and misses with all 3 of its arms. Everyone now roll initiative, please.
Can someone heat the metal of the ball bearings?
Okay, so
It's
I'm
like,
gonna run to the door so that people are still behind me. For the last time this evening, I'm probably going to try my Wand of Wonder. 41.
As you point your wand at this big skeletal figure, to roll 8d6, please.
26.
The room is lit by bright light, and there's a thunderclap as he's blasted backwards. Bolt of lightning hits him, and the ball bearings is making roll further across the floor. He's going to rush forward again, dodges most of the ball bearings as he's going to leap towards you. Oh my word, that's a 2, a 3, and a 5. Oh, plus 7 to hit, so 12 for Lilypad. So what's
Okay.
everyone's armor class?
12.
So Lilypad, you're the only one he managed to reach. He's also going to try and grab you, to be honest.
Of course I am, yeah.
Reaches in with 2 limbs, swipes across, but you both bounce over it, and then he grabs Lilypad Alan and just squeezes you. And
Oh,
so
no.
you take 16 points of bludgeoning damage. It just squeezes the life out of you. You see her little eyes bulging.
I'm a toad. If you squeeze me so hard, I just slip out, right? Hellish Rebuke.
Oh.
That is a reaction, so you can do that plus another action if you want to do it still.
10 damage for that one. And then I'm going to cast Bane on him.
Wisdom save.
14, I think, now.
So
Charisma, because I'm a bard, that's why.
9 minus 1, so 8. So you're going to have a d4, I believe, minus to everything. Right.
Yeah.
So as
Cool.
being squeezed to death, he manages to croak out a little tune. He's going to cast Bane on the Cobble Fright. He's filled with swirling fire from your Hellish Rebuke.
Longbow, 19 to hit, 6 damage.
It hits one of his eyes, temporarily blinds this one eye.
So I am gonna heat metal on all the barbarians.
Yes!
So 6 damage from the metal.
Harold stretches out hands and all the claw bearers across the floor just begin to glow red hot. Lilypad, you stare down at them as this thing is holding you.
Oh no.
You see all the red dots just light up around you. He takes several steps backwards as this is burning his feet. He doesn't trip over them and he doesn't drop Lilypad into them, so you're safe.
I'm going to fire my longbow twice. 24 and 14 to hit.
24 hits.
16 damage.
So one arrow pierces him in the chest. Step backwards onto another ball bearing, which burns his feet again. Kingsley is then going to go, and he's going to cast Healing Word on Lilypad and get 4 hit points back.
Every little helps, Kingsley.
A bit of light just touches you, you suddenly feel a little bit better.
I'm going to cast Blindness and Deafness. Just the blindness aspect of it. Dexterity of 11. Constitution, sorry.
17. So you cast the blindness, deafness. His eyes blink out for a second as he tries to overcome it. He loosens Lilypad slightly so you're no longer being so much crushed, and then his eyes reopen and readjust. Lilypad is squeezed harder again. He's going to reach forward to try and grasp Princess Luna and Harold. 23 on Princess Luna, 10 on Harold.
It's a hit for me.
So he reaches through and also grabs you. Lilypad, can I have a Constitution saving throw, please?
Oh no. If I can find it, yeah. There it is. 18.
He cannot drain your life from you, but you do lose 7 points of necrotic damage as he tries to siphon your life out of you. He grabs Princess Luna and you're going to take 13 points of bludgeoning damage. So as he grabs you, he only manages to claw at you, and as he pulls away, you actually don't get dragged away from him.
Oh, we'll shoot him with my longbow. 12 to hit.
12 goes right through his chest and outside through the other side of the door.
Eldritch. That is 18 to hit.
Underneath, you manage to cast Eldritch Blast into its skull.
2 damage. Why? I always roll so low on damage.
Oh, you're doing 2 bolts because you're at level 5.
I have 2. Okay, so 2 plus 9. Cool. 11.
Giant purple blast comes up from Lilypad's fingers, and you see its eyes glow purple. Its spine just seems to be crumbling under this energy.
I'm gonna shoot with my short bow. 22 to hit.
That hits.
7 damage.
So he stumbles backwards with Lilypad in his arms, feet burning with his metal as it's just doing more and more damage to him. As another arrow strikes into it, bones begin to just drop off onto the scorching metal.
Same again. 23 and a 22 to hit. I was going to say through both eyes, but he's got 4 eyes, so top right and bottom left eyes. 19 damage.
Top and bottom left eyes both get pierced by 2 arrows. He drops Lilypad first into the metal. The Lilypad take 9 points of burning damage. This thing turns to dust and falls backwards in on itself.
Ooh, where's the raven guy?
Surely he would have had a bad time on the ball bearings. Let's take a quick nap.
Let's take a quick long rest.
Is that what you're doing in here?
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't mind that. I'm on 10 HP.
Great.
I'm on 5.
So you all take your long rest in the middle of this room, and we'll pick up
Surrounded by ball bearings.
surrounded by ball bearings. Cool off.
Really, really hot ball bearings and bones.
So as you take your long rest in here, the invisible man seems to have vanished,